The Apostle Paul gives directions to the church in Romans chapter 12 on how we should treat one another since we are believers within the family of God. Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Tuesday. You know, there are some admonitions for the church about conduct in their worship services, about how we partake in communion, even the roles of leadership within the body. But in Romans chapter 12, Paul is speaking in a very personal way as to how we treat one another within the church. He says in Romans chapter 12 and verse 10, "Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love, in honor, giving preference to one another." Now, this is not asking us to be nice now, right? That sounds like something that a parent would tell their child when they've seen them be selfish or maybe even cruel to one another. He calls for us to be kindly affectionate, which means that we should be demonstrative in our love for one another, showing that love in actions and in real ways. Not only being affectionate outwardly, but kindly affectionate, which calls for us to show that love from the heart with a great deal of compassion for others around us. We practice that kindly affection with brotherly love, which needs to be obvious within the body of the church anyway. When I consider the term brotherly, it doesn't even sound like love. Have you ever seen how brothers oftentimes fight like cats and dogs? They especially try to be mean to one another in ways that they would never treat another person. But the brotherhood of the Christian body ought to be a place where we display an unusual type of love and acceptance because we are a forgiven society. When we experience the love that God shows us and hear Jesus' call for his disciples to love one another as he has loved us, we have to show that love within the body. And the way we practice this kind affection is in honor, preferring one another. Now, I believe we all have a little bit of a selfish side, which Jesus already knew. That's why he commanded that second command, love your neighbor as yourself. Can we really love others in the way that we love ourselves? So let's go one step further and call for the Christian to prefer others over ourselves. The type of love needed within the church is to prefer others in such a way that they are more important than I am. We should seek the welfare of others' feelings more than the feelings that we have. Or we should seek the welfare of others' physical needs more than our own physical needs. We actually should seek the welfare of others' spiritual needs above our own. I mean, wouldn't the church be a wonderful atmosphere if we all loved one another with that kind of love? As a matter of fact, we should strive to practice an affectionate preference of others within our church body. And let's do that in the coming weeks and see if God does not bless us all together.